What's going on, everyone? It's Mike, it's John, back again, proudly sponsored by Flyers Indoor Golf, proudly sponsored by Aviate, our match problem sponsor. We are no longer sponsored by Match Bingo, so ignore that square. You are probably all wondering what that video was about. And you would have saw a little flash at the end there of some writing and whatever. Me and John are incredibly pleased to announce that on the 6th of February at Flyers Indoor Golf on Vandry Street, we will be hosting an evening with Neville Southall. So it's a ticketed event. Please come along. You are literally going to be up close and personal with arguably the best goalkeeper in Everton's history, a true legend of our football club. And we are absolutely honoured that he has agreed to do this evening with us. Also hoping to have some live acts, some music and various other bits and bobs. But yeah, the main man is booked and we are there the 6th of February, who will throw questions at him. We're comparing the night ourselves, so you'll have a laugh with me and John, no doubt about it as well. So, look, the link will be in the description, certainly at the match reaction for the tickets, but today is the announcement video. So, there will be an early bird opportunity to get them booked. Tickets are £30 ahead. If you could support the channel, we would be greatly appreciative. John?
Yeah.
Anything else to add in there?
No, it's been a long time in the making this, especially since we've been going into Flyers. Not such a long time because we haven't been going in there that long, but we've been trying to get a night with, a true Everton legend, let's just call it. And I don't think they come much bigger than Neville Southall. So yeah, I'm with you. We are privileged to have him in our company, and hopefully we probably get about 100 people in Flyers for the event. So we're hoping you can be there. It'd be nice to put, a face to the names and the people who put comments and stuff like that. So I'm sure we'll see a few old faces who we've already met who do watch the channel, who already meet us in Flyers on a match day. But yeah, it's going to be a privilege and it's going to be an honour to be in the same room as you say, arguably the best goalkeeper Everton's ever had, and probably, mate, in the 80s, he was probably the best goalkeeper in the world.
Oh yeah, honestly, it's a true privilege, and look, it kind of felt fitting today of all days with the confirmation that Jordan Pickford has signed a new deal, which will keep him at Everton till 2029, and this is the preview ultimately, but it's a big commitment both from Jordan Pickford and of Everton. That's Jared Branthwaite in the summer, that's Jordan Pickford now. It's a statement of intent about where Everton want to go. Is England undisputed number one? And I'm absolutely over the moon that that's confirmed and done and dusted, and we can move on to the next, hopefully.
Well, we speak about having a good spine of the team, don't we? We've seen other teams in the past have it. It starts with your goalkeeper, your central defenders, your midfielders, and there's no better beginning of that spine, in my opinion, than Jordan Pickford at the minute. Undoubtedly, by a country mile. I said it last night, England's number one. And we've probably got the future Everton captain, in my opinion, signing a contract as well in Jared Branthwaite. There is rumours going around that there is going to be a couple more, but I think, obviously you add Tarkowski to that as well. He brings his leadership and his experience. But I just think for the Freakins coming in and, just less than 12 months, I think it is now, the Freakins have been there 10 months, and to get Jordan Pickford and Jared Branthwaite signed up within a matter of a couple of months of each other, I think speaks volumes of where they want to take the club.
Yeah, spot on. I couldn't agree more. And it is a real statement of intent, and it is a real commitment that Everton are not going anywhere anytime soon, if we're being honest. However, look, let's talk about the weekend. 3 o'clock kickoff at the Etihad Stadium. For some reason, I thought this was a Sunday game. I have no idea.
I agreed with you though, so we were both to blame last night. I agreed with you.
I don't know why I thought that, but
I think
anyway,
we're looking ahead to next week because that's a Sunday kick.
Yeah. Spurs, tough game.
This is tougher.
Yeah, I mean this is a very tough game. Erling Haaland is back on his pump. He's flying. He's absolutely destroying teams. How difficult is this game,
mate? You know, even if you take Erling Haaland out the equation, playing a Manchester City team who, you know, are one of the best teams the Premier League's probably ever had since it was formed, you know, and if you look at the titles they've won, if you look at the manager and what he's done, and they let quite a few players go in the summer, but they've replaced them, and to take them new players a bit of a while to bed in, but now they are bedding in. Phil Foden's found his form again, you know, and you're quite right with what you say. The main man, Haaland, everything he touches is turning to gold, and I have no doubt, mate, he's going to carry on breaking records after records after records, Erling Haaland. And as I said, it was going to be a tough game anyway, but when you've got a striker as in form as what he is, and he's hurting teams week in, week out, Everton have got to be on blob, mate, because if we're not, it could be a tough watch.
Yeah, and look, and that is suggested by the stats, the Opta stats, and various other websites that give you stats, but it's giving Everton a 15% chance of winning.
Like, you know what, mate? Sorry to butt in, but you know, like, I know people who watch the channel won't want to hear this, and I don't like saying it, but you know, when you look at certain games through the season, and you sort of look at them like a free hit, you know, it's one of them. There's not many Everton fans who are going there expecting us to get anything. We're going to have to be on the ball, on blob for 90, 95, 97 minutes or whatever it will be. Everton have got to go there with a game plan to nullify City attack, to nullify City's creativity. And you'll have a bit of a chance if you can do that. But make no bones about it, even if Everton are 100% on song, it's still going to be a tough game. And there won't be any, again, this is sounding negative, there won't be any disgrace in Everton getting beat at the Etihad because there's not many teams who do win there. You know, we've got a home game after that, another tough game. But if you give me the choice out of the two games, which I think we have more of a chance in, it's got to be the Tottenham game. You know, you don't know what Tottenham turn up.
Yeah, I don't. Look, it's really weird for me, this game, because like every time we play City, I always think we could give them a game. We find a way of giving them a game, and you know, I think if I remember last season, we had a really tough run of games and we got draws in all of them. And Manchester City at the Etihad was one of them. You know,
it was Boxing Day, that wasn't it?
Yeah, and we drew 1-1. Lilliman and Joy, I think, got the opener, and it was a lovely finish. I think it was a volley, if I remember, and he banged it in the top bins, half volley. So, yeah, look, the issue I have for this is you never really see Everton winning, but you could potentially see a draw, and I think that's probably the best Everton could hope for in this game, a draw. And even that's a really, really, really tall ask. You know, when you look at the golfing quality in the two sides, you look at the fact that Jack Grealish will not be in the Everton team because of the loan. When you look at, you know, the fact that, you know, we still don't necessarily have Jared Brantwaite, or certainly, even if he's back in the squad, he won't be starting, stuff like that. You just, it's not strong enough, in my opinion, to go and beat Manchester City.
Yeah.
But
don't get me wrong, mate. You know, let's look at it, if we can, positively. Man City might have an off day, you know, and we have seen Man City have off days towards the end of last season, and you know, there's been a couple of performances this season which haven't been great. But you mentioned the main man there, in my opinion, for Everton at the minute. It's going to be a massive miss.
Yeah, and that's the problem. So, look, I think it's a tough game. You know, if you ask me about my team, And that's the bit that I don't know. I think Charlie Alcaraz has to start. I don't 100% know where he starts, whether it's the right, whether it's the centre of that 10, whether he pushes Drewsbury Hall into the 10 and puts Alcaraz in behind. I don't know. But ultimately, Illiman and Jai's got to go back on the left-hand side because Grealish isn't there, unless you're going to start Dwight McNeil or Tyler Dibbling. Now, McNeil, by all accounts, didn't have a great game against, I think it was Bradford in the week, and Tyler Dibbling, let's be honest, he's still young, no issues, but he's not exactly pulling up any trees in this Everton team, so I don't necessarily think he's going to start either. So for me, I think it'll be better up front. I'm sort of going to go backwards, but it'll be better up front. I think he'll put in Jai on the right, on the left, Drewsbury Hall in the middle. I think he'll start Alcaraz on the right. I think he'll then have the two in the middle, which is James Garner and Idrissa Gana Guy. I think he'll have the same four defenders with O'Brien, Keane, Tarkovsky, and Mikalenko, and I think he'll have Pickford in goal, unless he wants to do something crazy. So, is that team good enough to go to a Manchester City and get a win? No, probably not. Could it get a draw by grinding it out, being resilient, being tough to beat? Yeah, we have seen that. We have seen Everton get results. We've seen Everton just sort of backs to the wall and defend well, and that's what we're going to have to do. Manchester City are going to have 70% of the ball. They're going to be in our half. We need to suck them in and essentially spit them out when we carry the ball forward. So,
is Kieran Dewsbury available again? He's done his 2 games, hasn't he now?
I thought it was only one anyway.
Oh yeah, it was one. Yeah, because it was 2. It was the yellow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Listen. We need a David Moyes performance, and it's as simple as that. We need a never say die attitude performance. We need our big game players to step up to the plate, because if you don't, they hurt you, mate. And we've seen the attitude that this Everton team had when the last game out. Crystal Palace, we kept going till the end. We got the winner, Jack Grealish. Charlie Alcaraz, come on, probably had his best half that I've seen him have for Everton Football Club. So if he can start on Saturday and take that second half performance into this game, he's got to be a big game player on Saturday for me. Charlie Alcaraz. Be great to see Kieran Dewsbury all back. But yeah, I can't pick anything that I disagree with your team there. I think it's spot on. I definitely go with Beto over Barry. What I will say is Tyler Dibling's put in a couple of decent performances for the England under-21. Probably needed that for build a bit of confidence for himself. Maybe Moyes might look at that as well. But I think Charlie Alcaraz deserves to start this game from a second half performance against Crystal Palace. Again, the rest of the team, I agree with you.
Yeah, and look, that's I mean, score prediction. Look, I'll be straight. 2-1 City.
I go 3-1 City, to be fair.
Yeah, and look,
take it easy with us in the comments, because I'm not feeling too good. And at the end of the day, it is Manchester City, so we're not going to give a false score prediction. It's going to be a tough game, and I think our score predictions echo that.
Yeah, mate. I mean, we could go there and not score. We could easily go there and lose 2-0 or 3-0. There's
we could go there and put an Everton performance in and nullify them, mate, and just defend for 90 minutes. I know you can't really do that against City, but they might have an off day. Maybe could come away with a 0-0.
Exactly. And that's the point. If you just go there, aim to get something. If we get something, if we don't, it is one of those things, and we move on, and we go into a home game the week after, and as you rightly said, if Everton have got aspirations of staying relatively high in the league table, then they've got to go and beat teams like Tottenham at home, haven't they? They've got to beat they've got to beat those teams that are going to be in and around them. Everton are 8th in the league for a reason. 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats. Well, we've got to win our home games. With 2 of those draws. Those 2 draws have both been at home. They've both been at home. Villa was a draw, West Ham was a draw. So you've got to, if you can get a point at City, which is brilliant, it is a bonus. But your bread and butter is your home games.
And if we can take 4 points out of these 2 games, I think that's a statement.
It's astonishing. It's fantastic. So look, I'm not getting ahead of myself, because if you offer me 3 points out of these 2 games, I'll probably take it. If I'm being honest, if give me a win out of these 2 games, I'm all over it.
Well, it's against 2 teams who are going to probably get European football, aren't they? So if you can get 3 points from these 2 games, you've got to be happy, haven't you? Especially with Jack Grealish missing for one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got 3 tough games coming up. You know, City away, Tottenham at home, Sunderland away. But ultimately, Everton have got to go to places like Sunderland and win. They've got to beat Tottenham at home. And that's how Everton challenge for a European spot, or challenge for the sort of 6th, 7th, 8th. So, look, what will be this weekend. Let's hope for a point. Mate, let's hope for a win. But ultimately, if we get a point, that's great. But even if we lose, let's not knock us. Let's go into that Tottenham game flying off the back of a 2-1 win against a Crystal Palace team that hadn't, lost a game in 19. Let's remember that over Manchester City.
What we've also got to be careful of, mate, as well, is if we do get beat, just don't roll over and get our belly tickled or a confidence knocker, do you know what I mean? And let it be 4-5-0. We don't want that. If we get beat, we want to see a performance. And it's if we get beat, we're talking like we are going to get beat. It's a tough game, as we've said. Don't roll over. Don't get your belly tickled. Put a performance in. See what you can get. Do you know if we get beat 2-1 with a half-decent performance away at Man City, you sort of accept it, don't you? With a home game coming up, as you say. But we just don't want a cricket score where it just knocks the players' confidence like that.
Yeah, spot on. You take the confidence into the next game, even if you take the good points into the next game.
What you want to do is, even if we get beat by City, if you still want to come away from that game with some confidence still intact.
Yeah, spot on. Right, look, we will leave it there. That is your match preview. Everton against Manchester City. But look, the breaking news. Jordan Pickford has signed a new deal, and Neville Southall will be in Flyers on the 6th of February. So get ready, get a ticket, and we'll see you there. Until then, you'll see us for the match reaction. I will try and find a Manchester City fan to do an opposition view, but it's not promising, but I will try. But until then, up the toffees. See you soon. John, rest up.